Hi, and welcome to another edition of On the Spot. My name is Ronnie Wiley. To my left is Colin Williams. Colin, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
Good to have you on the show. Colin, TV3, you used to be an intern here. We're going to talk about all the things you did, but before we do that, you are now a Ball State student.
Yep, that's correct.
And so what year are you in at Ball State?
So I am technically going in as a senior.
Yeah.
I did dual credit ECHS at Carnesville High School.
Yeah.
But it's only like my third year here, so
Yeah.
we're there.
So are you going to be graduating after this year or still going on?
So I still got another year left. December of 23, I'm out.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm going to grad school for university and college teaching.
Oh, great. Great. So you're going to be teaching in college?
That's the plan. I want to go to a university and teach, but that's kind of like way down the road.
Yeah.
I just want to get a certificate, and then later in life, just once I get some experience in, go back, teach what I know, all that good stuff.
So what do you want to teach?
Media, video production. So
video production. Now, when people think of video production, so what we're doing now is we're not talking into the camera. The camera's recording us,
right.
And then Justin's in the other room, and he's putting it on the computer. And then after we're done, when we hey goodbye, that's when the real fun begins. That's when somebody like you takes over.
Mm-hmm.
What is the media production? What does that entail? I know what it entails, but
yeah, so it just entails just a little bit of everything. I mean, as far as camera work, what you do with the camera, the settings that you have with the camera, how that's going to work in post, what you can do in post, and kind of envision what your final product should be, you know, in your eyes. So that's all it really essentially is, what you see.
Yeah. So post is post-production.
Yes.
So if you have a post, you have to have a pre-production, and you're part of that too.
Yeah, so sometimes I'll do like a pre-production like checklist, shot list, equipment checklist, all that good stuff. That's just part of it. That's probably the worst part of it because you're always going to go in and you're like, oh man, I forgot something, or like, oh, I didn't really need this, but yeah.
It's better to have, I didn't really need this than to, I wish I would have had that.
Yeah, and that goes with batteries, for sure.
Yeah, right.
Batteries. So.
Yeah, you got to have enough batteries and a long extension cable.
Oh, yeah.
Enough lighting. It's, we've had it all. So you this third year into it, so you went to the Chs Program. And who was your teacher there at CHS?
So my sophomore year, I had Joe Kowalski as my teacher for a semester. And then he retired, and then Sydney came in. So.
Yeah. So Sydney comes in, and so she's brand new. I mean, she was a student there at CHS. And how much of it changed from Mr. Kowalski to Mrs. Tushlag?
It was black and white. It was a black and white change. I just remember hearing about how she just wants to get the ground running as soon as she gets in, and I'm just like, I'm with that. Let's do it. So, yeah.
So now, what did she do when she hit the ground running?
Man, we just, started doing broadcasts. The way that we did news was, pretty much changed. Some things still stayed as far as like doing scripts and all that good stuff, but really just drilling in just like rule of thirds and, white balancing and stuff like that. Stuff that, you should just obviously know. And Glow did teach that, but she drilled it,
Yeah.
So.
Which rule of thirds?
Pardon?
Rule of thirds.
Oh, rule of thirds. So yeah, so it's just it's two lines up and down, and then top bottom. Yeah. So then you always want to put it in between, where the two lines intersect.
So you want to put like yourself, your person. So whenever you're the camera, So you want to make that, and then sometimes if you have some writing, you kind of move it over. Correct? Yeah. So yeah. I kind of know some of that stuff too. So. Things changed. You learned a lot more. You were growing. So let's back up a little bit. So when did you start? Because I always tell everybody, I think anybody who gets in the media, whether it's behind the scenes like you're doing, in front of the camera like I'm doing, or whatever, combination of both, like Nathan Shaw is front and behind, you're bit by it. It's a bug there's out there, and you get bit by it. When were you bit by the media bug, the entertainment bug, the whatever bug that's out there?
Before I got into media, I guess, like you said, the entertainment bug, I started making YouTube videos when I was 12 of like different gaming videos I would do. My buddy Darius was like, hey, you should really download Sony Vegas editing software, make videos, post it to YouTube, and that's where it kind of took off. So going into high school, I had some editing experience. That's why I told Joe when he asked, like, what do you want to do here and stuff. I was like, I want to be an editor. And he let me be an editor. And that's when I was like, oh, I can make a career out of this. And so for the longest time, I was going to just do like edits and stuff like that. But I can do a little bit of everything, and that's great.
So editor. So you when we talk of editing, some people think it's just from one cut to another. There's so much more to editing than that.
Oh, yeah.
Explain the details of editing.
So every single edit is purposeful, and there's a name for it. Whether it be like a J cut, an L cut, whip cut, whatever. I study these edits through movies. Like I see what Quentin Tarantino does with editing. I also see what J.J. Abrams does. And I kind of just learn off of that, learn from that, and then kind of just apply it into my own edits. So then that's how I learn. The best way that I learn is just actually doing it. So that's, and I'm still learning every day.
And creating your own style.
Oh yeah. You definitely need to create your own style, be your own type of editor. There's nothing wrong with being inspired. Yeah. But yeah, you definitely
of course.
You definitely need to make your own kind of
there's always a foundation which to build upon. Nobody's recreating the wheel. We're just making it comfortable for us when we're doing it.
Right, exactly.
So editing, again, and it has to do with lighting. I mean, there's so much to it than just, and you said it has a purpose. So you get into editing, but you started learning more things. What interests you outside of editing when you started working or started at the program at CHS?
So it started when I was like, okay, what else is out there? Like editing's really cool, but is there other cool things? Right. And Sydney kind of just gave me the opportunity to do these kind of things, like be a cameraman, work on the audio board, be a technical director, which technical directing, I love. I love directing. That's something else I put right up next to editing. I just love directing. So
like when our ears during the ball games, telling us clear and all that stuff.
Right.
Now, leaving the mic open sometimes when we get. No, I'm just kidding. Those are the fun times. Yeah. One time, Sydney and John left the mic open, and we're hearing them talk about Disney World. While Fran and I were doing the game. I was like, "Hey, turn that off." So you're learning new things, and you're picking up like, "Man, I like this."
Right.
Did anything kind of surpass editing, or is it just at the moment you're doing something you like that more than editing, or is editing still the number one thing that you like?
I still love to edit. I still love doing post-production. Yeah. I would much rather do post-production than anything else. I still love doing the act of broadcasting, but post-production is where it's at for me.
Yeah, I think there's that creative process of seeing something come from, especially when you're, if you're doing a movie or something, because you shoot everything so much out of sequence, to put it together and see it come together.
Exactly.
Is incredible.
Oh yeah.
And see the many different takes from it. So you're learning all this stuff. You're doing well. And you have your class had Letarian, and I think name some of the kids that were in your class.
Yeah, so we had like Letarian Harrison, Trent Eklund, Jay Gaddis. Nate was with us for a year or so. Same with Bailey Schneider.
Bailey, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Crank, one of the kids, because
Maxwell Crank. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, and these guys, I remember, especially, he was like, "Man, I want to do this." I don't know. Is everybody else doing?
So
do you keep in contact with any of them?
Not really, not as much. Life kind of just gets in the way. We're all kind of doing our own things and stuff like that.
You guys are no longer teenagers anymore now. Right?
I know. We're all doing our things. We're talking about salaries, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
Things you never talked about before.
I know. Yeah. But yeah, I know Trent's out in LA making like movies or doing something of that. LT's
following the dream.
Yeah, I hope. LT is doing, last I heard, was like real estate and stuff like that. And then as far as Jay, I haven't really talked to Jay, so hopefully he's doing great. So
yeah. So again, now when you were making these YouTube videos at 12 years old. Was it just as simple as your buddy saying, make these videos? Or was there something prior to that where you kind of like watching movies thinking, maybe I can do that? Or, I mean, where was the genesis of, I think I want to do this behind the scenes stuff? Yeah,
so really it kind of just came from watching a lot of like YouTube videos and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it's not even just like people sitting in front of a camera. It's people like actually like playing a game and commentating over it. And all that good stuff. And then, like I said, my buddy Darius, he was like, yo, I kind of want to do this. And I looked at him, I'm just like, wow, let me do that too. And he's like, let me show you. And that's where it kind of just took off. We were both making YouTube videos. We were live streaming on YouTube and stuff, all at 12 years old. So
it amazes me. I don't understand how people can watch somebody playing a game. I would want to play.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, yeah, but people do, and they make lots of money, and and I know that people, have millions of views, and it's like, wow. I mean, it's just amazing. So you guys are doing, and your buddies your age too. You guys are like 12 years old, trying to create an empire at 12 years old on YouTube. Did you? How many viewers did you have?
Different videos did different things. So I think the highest one I got was probably 100 views, which, back when I was 12 years old, that was insane.
Yeah.
So, but live streaming and stuff, I mean, we would have like 10, 15 people come in, talk to us, kind of leave, and all that good stuff, earn subscribers. We both reached the 100 subscriber milestone.
Good.
Yeah, so, and then after that, we, started doing school. I mean, we hit middle school, high school, and all that good stuff.
So talking about that, you hit middle school, high school. Usually kids go through a period, and mine never did. I knew what I wanted to do out of the womb. I think in the womb I wanted to entertain and act and all that stuff. I think I came out entertaining people. But a lot of people, that's not the norm. I think a lot of people go through a phase where, I want to do this, I want to do this. It just changed their mind. But you really never did. So when you went through, was there any other interests?
I mean, not particularly. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do career-wise, but I knew I wanted to do something digitally, technologically. I remember when I was little, I told my mom, like, I want to be a veterinarian.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't want to be a veterinarian. And went off the deep end and said, I want to be a trash man.
Yeah.
Because I've seen those trash men right on the back of the trucks. I'm like, that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
So obviously that was all scrapped. And then, like I said, I guess, you're right. I never really left the love for technology.
Yeah. And that's the thing, technology. I read a report, a while ago, this was a long time ago, and I'm sure it still holds true, that if you start a 4-year college in computers, by the time you graduate in 4 years, what you started to learn 4 years ago would be obsolete by the time you graduate. So it's a continual learning. Have you found that to be true with the technology of the editing systems, the software, and all this stuff when it comes to?
Yeah, I definitely would say that. Every year we're going to have a new Premiere Pro, a new Adobe suite. You're always going to have the Adobe 2023, 24, 25 suite. It's always going to be updating. Something's going to change, whether it be like minuscule or just something large. There will always be, different editing softwares out there that are trying to compete and all that good stuff. But yeah, for sure, it definitely changes.
And so, again, with that, the basic fundamentals is always the same. I mean, there's always that purpose. Why is this cut made? Why is this cut made? And so again, going back to your editing when you were doing with the kids, and you were working here, and you've done the technical. What now is your focus in school? What's your main focus and drive?
Honestly, just making people happy, giving them like what they want as far as like media, like getting it out there as easy as I can.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of what drives me to be an engineer, which I know you said.
Yeah.
You asked me, you're like, what's your plans after school? And engineering's one, because I want to help people. I've always wanted to help people. So that's what drives me in college for sure. And just doing broadcasting, do what I love. Get up, go, broadcast, go home, sleep. Great day. You
don't hear anybody talk about wanting to be an engineer. It's usually being on the air where they're talking, or because that's where the accolades come from. Being on the air, hey, or being behind the scenes and making the people on the air look good. The engineer is that you're responsible for making sure everything is. I mean, all the equipment, everything, the power outage, the wattage. I mean, everything is well, both television and radio. Where does radio fit into your media?
So I actually had a huge fear of audio, not like the actual like audio, but just like messing with audio. I just could not wrap that around my mind. But after taking an audio class at Ball State, yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with it. Video and radio are similar in some ways, and others not. I think video is just a little bit more complicated than radio.
Oh yeah, a whole lot more to me.
Yeah, because you're actually getting a picture, of course. So, but as far as like RF signals and all that good stuff, it's all kind of, you know.
Yeah, I've always found when I was in college and we were doing some of the media classes, what I found difficult for the editing, like for me, editing is simple in audio because I just have the audio.
Right.
You know, that's easy.
Right.
With recording, with the video, you know, I have different cuts to play off of, and the audio is different in different cuts. It's Justin, I can't sometimes wrap my brain around how to do that.
Right.
And people think, you know, because I can see, well, sometimes the audio and video don't match up, you know, and anyway, you guys are much more talented than I am on that. So again, you learn with the engineer stuff, that you can almost write your own check being an engineer.
Oh yeah.
You know,
definitely.
because of the fact that not everybody goes into that. Was that a driving factor in deciding, you know, that that's what you wanted to do? One of them?
More or less, I would say so. Yeah, I think so. At Ball State, we have an on-campus news station. It's Delaware County's only live telecast.
Wow.
And so we do a broadcast every day, except for Fridays. Friday mornings we do what's called Cardinal Weather. But it's all pretty much the same. But doing that and then having things go wrong there and everyone's like scrambling, kept a cool head. I'm like, got this, guys. Just let me do it. Work out, loved it. I just love seeing people's faces when I fix something. Yeah. That's just amazing. That's priceless to me.
No, there's nothing like. Especially in the day and age of computers, back in the old days when we had cart machines and you know, if things went off the air, it was really almost a quick, or it was generally if things went off the air, it was something at the engineer's standpoint where it came from the tower. But if it was a computer issue, that was beyond my. When you saw the engineer walk in the room, you know, they almost got a standing ovation. It's like, oh, they can fix this because generally if things were off the air, then, you know, because I can throw a CD on with, you know. So again, that's something that you could do. So you got a year to go. When you're doing this media class, obviously in college you got to take all kinds of crazy classes. You know, some classes that maybe you don't think would be. What kind of classes are you taking in college that you think, man, I'm not going to use this class in my life, in my career?
So one was art. I had to take an art class. Yeah. It was just like, what is this painting? What is this type of structure called? You know, like, you know, the Gothic church in like France or something. Like, you know, what period was this from? I mean, it was just like, how is this, you know, gonna help me?
Who knows? Maybe you're gonna, if you shoot a scene.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking too. But
did you have to take any science classes or anything?
No, I didn't have to take any science classes, but I will though. I have to take something. I'm probably gonna take like astronomy or something. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's and then there's like black hole theory. Like there's all kinds of just like really cool and really random classes at Ball State. But
that you have to take part of your degree?
Yeah, so it's a tier 2 science that I have to take, and that's just, like I said, astronomy or like black hole theory.
So this is a BS that you're getting, not a BA?
It is BS, yes. I just recently changed it to Bachelor of Science. So
I would almost think this would be a Bachelor of Arts, but...
Well, I
don't know the difference, you know, why it would... How do you get either or, but I got a BA, so...
The only difference is a foreign language. That's it. If you take a foreign language, you get a Bachelor of Arts in telecommunications. But if you don't take it, you get a Bachelor of Science. And I think a Bachelor of Science sounds a lot better than a Bachelor of Arts for what I want to do. It makes me sound smart. So
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I just sound like an artiste. I guess. Ball State, David Letterman, Joyce DeWitt. Joyce DeWitt, of course, the Three's Company. Did you know? Were you aware of her? Okay, really? No, I was kidding. So Dave Letterman, obviously the big name. Is that one of the reasons why you picked Ball State?
No, it was actually someone else who graduated from Ball State. Jim Davis. He was the creator.
Oh, yeah.
He was the creator of Garfield.
Yeah.
That was another big thing. I didn't actually realize until I got into college. I was just like, oh, Jim Davis went here? I'm not changing.
Yeah. So you thought maybe possibly of...
So I definitely considered like IU East, I mean, different places. And then I settled in Ball State. I was an hour away from here, Cartersville, all that good stuff. So
yeah. And it's just far enough away to where you can be on your own and just close enough to where you can come back.
Exactly.
You know, at the daytime, you know, if you need to come home during the day. And so you were you born and raised here? Did you come, or you transplant?
So I was born in Batesville.
Yeah.
And then
I'm a foreigner too.
And so then I came in here in Cartersville and I was raised here.
How old were you?
Up until I was 12. Yeah. My parents got a divorce. My mom moved to Rushville. I moved in with her. Yeah. We stayed there for a couple of years, 3 years or so, and then came back to Cartersville and been here since. And then, like I said, I now live up in Muncie. So.
Yeah. And you get back here every so often. During the summertime, at least.
So here in the summer, I'm still living here in Cartersville. Yeah. But during school, I'll live up in Muncie. I'll live in an apartment.
So you obviously, it's good to learn every aspect, and I wish that I would have learned a whole lot more. And I tell kids who want to break into, you know, in any of the media field. When I started 30-something years ago in radio, I just wanted to be on the air. That's all. I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to crack the mic and sound stupid as possible on the air. That's what I wanted to do. You know, I didn't care about doing production. I didn't care about doing, you know, any of that stuff. But that, you know, when radio changed with the telecommunication bill in '96 and things started opening up, and you know, all these big companies came in, it changed, and then computers. You know, geez, I was doing. Up in Richmond, I was doing, you know, 38 hours of airtime a week on 101.7 The Point, and then plus stuff on Chs 96. But I was recording everything.
Right.
I never forget. I walked into Union Savings and Loan, and they had me on the radio. I was talking to them while I was on the air, and so things change so much. But if you want to stay longevity, you have to know more. Is that advice somebody's given you to where you need to learn everything?
That was kind of just like advice that I developed myself. No one really outright told me, hey, always stick ahead, always stay ahead. I think the reason that I'm always trying to stay ahead is because also I study IT at Ball State, and just always keeping up of like the latest like video card that's being released, or like what components don't really talk to each other based on someone else's experience. Right. Okay, now I know this. Maybe they'll fix it in the next one. That's what I have to look for. Right. So knowing what you know now will definitely help in the future. Right. And it's definitely, you should always have your mindset in the future when in that sense. Yeah. So
you want to be an engineer, which can get you work at any radio station, can work you at any television station. I'm assuming you probably work at a television station, which you can be an engineer and still, you know, work as an editor, as the, you know, whatever. What are your main goals from here on out? Obviously, getting your degree and going to grad school and teaching. Is there a particular college that you want to teach at? A station you want to work at? Do both?
So yeah, doing both would be cool. I don't really have any kind of like school or station in mind. I just kind of just whatever I feel is right. I definitely would like, it'd be really cool to come back and teach at Ball State for sure. Yeah. But I'm pretty open to anywhere. Like I said, that's like way down the road teaching wise. But as far as like working at a news station, I'm down to go anywhere in the country.
Yeah, but hey, that's good for you. Yeah, definitely. Especially somewhere warm.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere tropical would be very nice. Is there any when you were making those YouTube videos, was there any dreams of maybe you mentioned Tarantino and J.J. Abrams? Was there any dreams of maybe I want to make me a movie?
Not really, but it wasn't until high school, like towards the tail end of high school into college, I'm just like, yo, it would be really cool to make a movie. I did make a short film that I did it in 48 hours, filmed, or well, pre-production, actual production, and then post-production. 48-hour turnaround, made a short film.
Did you write it during that time, or just make it up as it went on?
I wrote it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I had a script out. I had a
How many pages?
Storyboard. It was only like 3 pages. It was a super like it was a short film.
Yeah, super short. Yeah.
So I think the like video length was only like 5 minutes or something like that. But yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So is there any other shorts like had, documentaries in your future?
Sure. So we recently did a documentary for Newslink called Cameras in the Courtroom. And we did basically more or less like a video study of how courts are implementing, public media into their courtrooms. Yeah. What kind of reactions does the judge have with it being implemented? What kind of, feelings does the sheriff have with it being implemented and all that stuff? When should you cut it? Stuff like that. We kind of analyzed that. We went as far as to Michigan. We went to the Michigan Supreme Court there, and because they already put their thing into play. Mm-hmm. So in Indiana was just kind of like the test. They did it before, failed miserably, bringing it back. So we'll see what happens.
Well, this is obviously way before your time, but one of the biggest trials that was video or televised was the O.J. trial.
Oh yeah.
I remember that very well. Watching it, as a matter of fact, me and my ex-wife were on a cruise, and they were playing it there. You couldn't escape it. The many memorable, if it doesn't fit, you must have quit. Did they bring that up in your documentary?
No, but I wish they did.
Yeah.
Now that you mention that, I really wish they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that had a big effect on. Because it lasted over a year. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was even longer than the Manson trial that was not publicized or televised. But here recently, of course, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial went on, and of course, I watched highlights of that. I thought that was kind of.
Oh yeah,
it was. Couldn't help but kind of.
It was very comical. Yeah, it was.
That's kind of like I don't know. Whatever. But and then there was another one about that time about O.J. a little bit before was the William Kennedy Smith trial that was. Now that one was you talk about a guy who was railroaded. That was William Kennedy Smith, and gratefully for him that I think it benefited him having it in trial because he was a Kennedy, and so he was accused of raping somebody and so, of course, you're always guilty until proven innocent, and it's the opposite is supposed to be true. But when that trial came out, it was, oh, no, he was railroaded. And he wouldn't have probably gotten that if it wasn't videotaped or if it wasn't televised. So, yeah, that's good that you guys had that. But is there any other, things that you may be doing or have an idea that you want to do maybe later on?
So I have a lot of short film ideas that I want to do. Sometimes they'll just come to me randomly. Sometimes when I'm driving, or sometimes when I'm like at work or something, I'll just jot it down real quick. So I have a lot of short film ideas, and if something comes up, then I'll do it.
Well, if you ever need an actor, just supply some food, and I'll be there for you.
They actually taught us that when you're doing a movie shoot, always bring snacks.
Always got to bring snacks. Potato chips, pretzels, whatever.
I was told that fruit snacks were the #1 choice of actors.
Fruit snacks?
Fruit snacks. Mm-hmm. Yep, if there's fruit snacks there, you'll keep your actors happy.
No, it's water and no, I'm just kidding. Could be. I've all the sets I've been on, it's been like potato chips.
Oh yeah, and then you got your basic potato chips and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Or maybe I avoid that. That's probably why they probably have it, and I just don't go to that anyway. Our time is up. You're doing what you said you were going to do in high school. You're continuing to do it. God bless you. Good luck with everything you do. Colin, maybe we'll have you back on when you're winning the Emmy. Take care, and we'll catch you on the spot.